this utopic mutant universe, its very existence could be what's causing the incursions because they have tampered with the natural flow of things. Hey everybody, Colton here, and we've got a question from Jacob. Jacob writes, "Hey Colton, I have long agreed with your sentiment that the Fox X-Men universe, Universe 1005, aka the Deadpool universe, will be the universe that the X-Men are from in Avengers Doomsday. We don't need two X-Men universes." Yes, I've been saying that, completely agree, yeah. Jacob continues, "But I've often wondered how they would address all the inconsistencies in this universe. You've often said that they aren't going to overthink it, and it would appear that Alex Perez has confirmed that to be the case. What are your thoughts on this confirmation? Never doubt the Colton." Yeah, never doubt the Colton. So I didn't see that Alex Perez confirmed that. You sent a link as well. This is from comicbookmovie.com. Perez says, in Doomsday, the X-Men universe we get to see in the movie is a variant universe where events similar to that of the original trilogy and Days of Future Past occurred, just to make it simpler for the audience to not do that much homework. I'll comment on this in a second. What is new is that the universe exists as a utopia for humans and mutants, but you have to wonder what exactly happened prior to that allowed this utopia to exist. What sacrifices had to be made for the greater good? And that question is the general motif of Doomsday. He continues, "Not just for Magneto, but Sam, his Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Wakandans, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Steve Rogers, Thor, Loki, the TVA, the variants we see in this movie, and most of all, Doom. What would you be willing to sacrifice to gain what you want, to succeed, to save the ones you love, your morals, your beliefs, your powers, your morality, your life?" Wow. The insider later suggested that the idea of Magneto laying waste to New Jersey was originally planned for the Deadpool threequel. All right, I won't continue with that, but I have gotten several emails, you guys asking me to talk about Ian McKellen saying that he levels New Jersey, destroys New Jersey as Magneto. So we'll talk about that here in a second as we get into the Magneto of it all, because he has a big part to play in this conversation. So the first part about the audience having not so much homework, and in Doomsday, the X-Men universe we get to see is in the movie it is a variant universe, but it's where events very similar to that of the original trilogy and Days of Future Past occurred, just to make it simpler for the audience to not have to do that much homework. Yeah, that's what I've been preaching, is that one, the X-Men, the X-Men universe that Monica is in, it's the same universe as the Deadpool universe. We know that Deadpool's universe is 10005. I think we can say without a shadow of a doubt that's the universe Monica is in. They're not going to give us multiple X-Men universes. Feige has been very adamant, that these are the original X-Men who are returning. So I think the way they'll explain it for the super nerds who care to have it explained, aka us, is any inconsistencies will be explained two ways. One, it's a slightly different branch of this universe. So we know there's the Fox X-Men universe, but there are branching timelines where different things have happened. But that pretty much everything we know, the big stuff we remember, and that general audiences remember and liked about those movies, that's the general history of this universe. And any inconsistencies can be explained through different time travel events that have happened. We know Days of Future Past rewrote the timeline. Deadpool rewrote some things in Deadpool 2. Those can be explained through that, and that's already a big part of, Doomsday and this multiverse saga and the idea of time travel and different timelines. But for all intents and purposes, it's the same universe. It's those Fox X-Men from those movies, right? So I'm really glad to hear that someone else is saying that, because I've always thought it would be silly if they really, went with it's a completely different universe that looks very different and very different things happened, and we have really no knowledge of their history. They just happen to be being played by the same actors, kind of like with 838. with Patrick Stewart playing Professor X there. That's a very different universe and almost like utopian type universe. So we'll get into that next part here and how the Fox X-Men universe may have become that. But I like the idea of those old Fox X-Men movies being that loose history instead of us just having no idea what their history has been, right? It just makes the most sense. So I'm glad they're doing that. Now, as for the part about a utopic future, we know that Fox X-Men universe, it's had a bad apocalyptic future twice. There was the Days of Future Past future, which they fixed, but then just a few years later, we got the Logan future, where mutants were once again pretty much annihilated from existence. So it's interesting to see, and there have been rumors that what happened in Days of Future Past will have consequences, like that time traveling and reality rewriting that they did could have consequences for their involvement and lead to their involvement in Doomsday. But it'd be interesting to see if they actually do achieve some type of utopia type future for mutant kind, perhaps a utopia type future for that universe that was not supposed to ever exist. I mean, like I said, we've already seen twice with Days of Future Past. They had an apocalyptic future, mutants were being wiped out, they messed with time and changed it, and then what happened? Time messed back, they were wiped out once again just a few years later. So if they have found a way to make it to where they have this utopia type future, that could be the very thing that is causing these incursions to happen. We've heard that they are going through multiple incursions in Avengers Doomsday, and that incursions are nothing new to them. In fact, I think I have, that article was sent to me as well. Let me see. Okay, this one is also, I think, by Josh Wilding. Yeah, the title is Avengers Doomsday Rumor Reveals Reason for Avengers vs. X-Men. And I believe there's a direct quote in here. If you'll give me 1 second, see if I can find it. No. Okay, yes, it's from My Time to Shine Hello, another leaker. He said that in Avengers Doomsday, the X-Men have been through many incursions. So when the Avengers and the Fantastic Four come to their universe to try and help them, the X-Men assume that they came there to destroy them, and that's why they have this initial fight before, I guess, then teaming up and working together. And we've also heard the rumors that Avengers Doomsday begins with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe going through an incursion with the X-Men, the Fox X-Men universe, and that they destroy Tobey's universe. So this utopic mutant universe, its very existence could be what's causing the incursions, because they have tampered with the natural flow of things, and it's put a target on their back. And what they have done is, every time they're encountered with an incursion, I guess they all work together to destroy that other universe. And then that brings in this part where we were reading about the moral questions that we are going to be seeing, the trolley problem that I've talked about for Doomsday, because I think Doctor Doom is going to be of the opinion, and we know how incursions work in the comics and in the movies as well. When an incursion is happening, two universes colliding, you can either destroy one universe to save your own, or they'll just both die. So the trolley problem argument could be, hey, this train is going toward these three people strapped on a track, and it's going to kill those three people. That's what's going to happen. Now, you could intervene and pull this lever to where it'll go down this other track, and it's only going to kill one person. And then you have to have the argument of, well, isn't it more moral to only kill one person? But isn't it also immoral to involve your hand and you make a decision that takes someone's life? And that's an argument to be had. And we've heard Magneto say in the Doomsday trailer how it's not about how you die, and that he knows, death comes for us all. It's about who you are when you close your eyes. So I'm wondering if Magneto is having like regrets for all the universes that they have killed. And perhaps he has taken a big part in, perhaps that's why he leveled New Jersey. He may have leveled a New Jersey of another planet, or of another universe, another Earth. And maybe he's now talking with Charles after having destroyed yet another universe, and maybe Charles has, taken part in that and used his more logical side over his more moral side and decided, that the X-Men, that's what we're going to do to protect our universe, because if we don't, well, our universe is going to die and so will that other universe. So they've logicked themselves into this corner that's a completely logical, and you could even argue moral argument for that's what they need to do, because if they don't, well, then they're just going to die anyway. But anyway, we could see the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, the MCU people, the mainline MCU people, if they travel to that X-Men universe, and at first they get in a fight with the X-Men, but then they realize they're not on opposing sides. Maybe they're on, maybe they're opposing Doom now at this point in the movie, or maybe Doom's there making a certain argument for one way or the other. But we could see a point where certain characters make the argument of we have to find another way. And maybe it's Magneto, in a bit of a twist, who is the one that is quicker to come around to that argument that, I'm tired of killing people. I'm tired of destroying universes. This just keeps happening. So death is coming for us. Maybe it's about time we let it come for us and worry about who we are when we close our eyes for that final time. I think that's what this is setting up. And yeah, I'm excited for, I'm so glad to hear someone else saying that the motif of this movie is, what are you willing to sacrifice, whether it be yourself, your friends, your loved ones, your own morals, your own beliefs, and this psychological discussion to be had in your own mind and with others of wanting to do the right thing and trying to square that with your own evolutionary survival instincts, and both of those pointing to two the morals pointing to two different answers, but the evolutionary survival instincts pointing to one, but also there being that moral argument to it. Because what is the answer there? What is the answer there? If you know that you're in an incursion and you're both going to die, you would think the most logical and moral option would be, well, I guess let's fight and try to destroy each other so that only one of us dies. You would think that's the more logical argument, but then maybe the more moral argument, but maybe the more moral argument is, let's just take it on the chin that we might die and try to go find, even if it's unlikely, try to find another way around it. I love that we are going to be posed with that in Doomsday. We, the audience, are going to be posed with that. Our heroes are going to be posed with that. Dr. Doom is going to be posed with that, and actually have this argument, this moral and psychological argument between the characters that is more than just punch, punch, bang, bang, explosion, but actually have something that is making us as the viewer question where we fall in this argument. Civil War did that really well with the Accords and all that. So I'm excited for that. Thank you so much to, I want to make sure, Jacob, for sending this article in. Great discussion, man. And if you want to send articles or videos or questions in to perhaps be featured on the show, maybe, just maybe, you can send them to AskColtonNow@gmail.com. Email address down in the description below. All right, I'll see you guys soon.